If it feels like Trump is spinning up an unusual amount of dust, it's because he is. That's because he's trying to distract you from what matters most, which is his promise to rebuild the American economy. He's failing, and he knows it, which is why his administration is now saying short-term pain, long-term gain. The economy needs a detox period. But like most everything that comes from his mouth, it's bullshit. And the proof can be summed up in 3 main points. First, the fundamental idea of a short-term sacrifice for long-term gain is not crazy at face value. The issue is the timing. Joe Biden handed Trump a thriving economy. Its only real problem was that 2 years before the election, there was a big spike in inflation that didn't come back down. But our retirement plans were doing great, wage gains were strong, and unemployment was low. To inherit a thriving economy and immediately kneecap it out the gate tells me he was more interested in tarnishing Biden's legacy than doing anything to actually help us. Second, Trump's dream of a perfect economy is like every other Trump dream: antiquated and obsolete. His perfect picture of America is a dad who works at a vacuum cleaner factory, a quietly miserable but obedient stay-at-home wife, and 5 obedient homeschooled kids who begin every day with Bible verses and the Pledge of Allegiance. But let me ask you this. Do you want to work in a textile factory? Do you want to make little metal parts in a big warehouse? Do you want to mine coal for a living? The American economy has moved on. Information, research, science, finance, education, and renewable energy, this is where we are at today, and we're better for it. And the third reason is because his bullshit approach is going to raise the cost of living for everybody, and wages will not keep up even if we all go back to making little plastic things in a factory. To prove my point, Scott Bessent, the Treasury Secretary, said that the American economy is not built on cheap baubles from China, but their whole plan is to put tariffs on those cheap baubles from China so that we can make cheap baubles in the United States. But here's the key point that they're missing. It was fair wages, pensions, and benefits that made those jobs great, not the fact that people were working in factories. In reality, the path to rebuilding the middle class begins and ends with tax policy and regulations on CEO compensation. I'm talking about capital gains taxes, eliminating the Social Security tax cap so billionaires actually pay their fair share, and capping executive compensation as a ratio of the average worker's pay. You don't slap tariffs on the cheap shit being made in other countries so that we can make cheap shit here. You change the tax code so that every American is keeping a fair share of the wealth they are already creating with their job. Because right now, the per capita GDP in the United States is one of the highest in the world. We create absolutely obscene amounts of wealth as a nation, but it's all going to the 1%. And at the same time, we will always have some low-income citizens, people who need the cheap things at big box stores. That just comes with a free market economy, so keep it that way. But at the exact same time, correctly structure the relationship between work and wealth so that as many people as possible can purchase things that are made in the United States and support American jobs. And with better safety nets, that'll be possible for more people than ever before, because low-income citizens won't be spending all of their money on things like predatory lending, broken down gas-guzzling vehicles, and catastrophically expensive healthcare for their family. Because you know what? If we're going to have short-term pain for long-term gain, put that short-term pain where it belongs, with the billionaires who can afford it.